And so today's guest, Jennie Kim, joined me for a very special conversation about bringing your culture to the stage. Jennie and I have become friends since that show in New Jersey, and I just adore her, which is why I invited her to join me on this week's episode for what is, in fact, her first ever podcast interview. Jennie, how are you doing?
I'm doing very good. I'm very excited for this.
I'm so happy you said yes to doing this with me.
Only because it's you. I am literally shaking right now. This is my first ever podcast, any kind of thing like this. So
you grew up back and forth between South Korea and New Zealand. How do you think you were able to navigate both worlds at such a young age? Like, did you feel like you struggled to fit in? Like, were you able to, have that really kind of authentic experience in both places and make that work for you?
When it comes to the adapting part, I really want to thank my mom in this. I feel like I should explain this too. So my name is Jennie in Korean too, which is very rare because I don't have a separate Korean name. Jennie is an English name that's just written in Korean. So now that I think back, I think my mom always had this wish that I would experience not just my culture and my country back home, but also like travel the world and be that person who is free everywhere I go. Like when I was in my kindergarten, like when I was 7, 8, that's when my mom always taught me about how big the world is and that it's not just where I am right now, but that whole world is
like so big. It goes around. Yeah.
Yeah. So, my mom always wanted me to have that in my life. And luckily, I was just able to enjoy what was in front of my eyes, I think. And I was lucky enough to meet great friends when I was in New Zealand who introduced me to their world. And I think it was a blessing that I had if I look back at it.
That's really amazing. I mean, it's cool because I guess in some way your mum just kind of envisioned you having a life, not just in Korea, but all over the world.
No, definitely. To be honest, I think in the beginning of my career, I guess I had more of that New Zealand side of me where I'm like, let me go out there and then be a part of that world. But as I got into the business and as I got to learn more about myself and my country, because I was based in Korea while we were recording and in the studio and everything, I started to bring more of the Korean side and the Korean culture into my music and my career.
Like they started merging together.
And the biggest reason I jumped into this music path that I chose was me listening to Korean music when I was living in New Zealand. And I dreamt of bringing Korean music to bigger world because I was also living in a world where I was in between the two cultures and I saw it happen. Like I really wanted to see it happen in the future. And also I wanted to play the part because I feel like I was able to do that with the language barrier and with the lifestyle that I have lived in the past.